Welcome everybody. I am so glad to be here. It's a beautiful day, and I want to just take a second and recognize that we have some people that decided to join us today who don't agree with firing McCoy and the boys. And I think that's great. You got your opinion. It's a public place, and this is a land of liberty that guarantees freedom of speech for all parties. Now we're going to talk about this freedom for just a second, so I'm going to ask you to listen with me. So let's think this out together, because we're all Americans. We're here to see this country and its people thrive and prosper and for it to grow. And that has to happen only if it's based on certain principles that actually work. Now, when our founding fathers decided to stand up against a tyrant, they declared that they had recognized certain unalienable rights that were given to them not by the king or a government, but by God. And they established something that is foundational to this whole country's experience. And that is that governments are instituted among people to secure those rights. And that governments receive their just power by the consent of the governed. And I would ask those who are in front, if you're talking, please be quiet for just a minute. I want to take a look real quick about how government is supposed to operate. It says that government is to secure the rights given by God. That's its primary and singular purpose. It's done this down through American history by providing peace and order for the people, for the society to live in and prosper. And it supported peace and order by stability. Stability that comes only by predictability, which arises out of consistency. To accomplish that, there had to be a framework of equitable and just laws that provided the process and the means by which the will of the people could be heard and addressed. Amen. And injustices or wrongness in the current laws or stuff, there was a due process by which it could be addressed and changed and real justice brought back into the country and improved. In order to be able to have this framework of just and equitable laws, they established a constitution. The first constitution in the history of the world that was created to frame a government. That Constitution, our U.S. Constitution that has stood for over 200 years now, provides the bedrock foundation for the government to achieve the ends for which it exists.
And not serve corporations, which our current government is doing.
If a government builds upon that foundation, and if it does its job right, the people of that country are going to thrive and enjoy. They'll enjoy their rights, they'll enjoy their life, they'll pursue happiness. And that's why the oath of office that our politicians take, and in this case especially we want to consider the oath of office that our legislators have taken, is so very, very important. As we were waiting to start, I was looking at the inscription on this bell. This bell out here is a reproduction of the Liberty Bell that's in Philadelphia. It was cast in 1950 and presented to the citizens of Mississippi with this heading: presented to the free citizens in a free land. Free land and free people can only exist where legitimate government adheres to the Constitution that authorizes it. If a government casts off the Constitution that authorizes it to exist, it is illegitimate and it is on the road to tyranny and oppression. Anytime you interject into the social processes and the legal processes inconsistency by ignoring the Constitution, its mandates, its limitations, its requirements, you introduce into society the very opposite of stability. You introduce this inconsistency will produce unpredictability, unpredictable, business. Unpredictableness causes people to react in self-preservation and to withdraw. Predictable society allows people to invest and to increase their activities in business and in their social activities, and people grow and prosper. You introduce unpredictability by inconsistency, and the result is a withdrawing and a shrinking of people in their business and their investments and in their freedoms. We have before us a group of legislators who decided that the Constitution of Mississippi did not matter and that it had no control over them. When they did this, they spit in your face. They spit upon the Declaration of Independence, and they spit upon the Constitution of the United States. They said they have some right to rule and reign over the people instead of being the servants of the people. Is that what you hired them for? Is that what you elected them for? Is that what they have authority to do? When Billy McCoy looked at the roadmap in front of him and said, hey, I'm going to lose the power to rule and reign in this state through liberalism if I don't fight the constitutional process, he rooted up all of your hopes of stability and consistency and an equitable process to solve political differences. When he did that, he said that he had a right to rule. Do we have rulers in this country? No. Do we have rulers in this state? No. Who's in charge of this state? The people. Now, we have plenty of room for disagreement. And we even have the right to be rude, as this lady is doing. But that doesn't mean that we cannot follow the Constitution. When these legislators took office, they took an oath. They swore to God. They put their left hand on the Bible and they raised their right hand and they said, I solemnly swear to defend and preserve the Constitution of the United States and of Mississippi and to faithfully execute the duties of my office. Anytime a politician ignores the Constitution that he swore to defend, he has repudiated his own authority. Anytime a politician refuses to execute the duties of his office as prescribed in the Constitution, he has made himself ineligible to serve any further. He has disqualified himself as a public citizen because he has violated his oath. And I don't know where they think they're coming from, that they can take an oath and then ignore it. Yeah. But you know, the Declaration said these rights come from God. They don't come from government. And these politicians better learn that they're going to answer to that God. And there is a God who intervenes on the side of the righteous and those who are oppressed. And we have called upon him in this state to intervene in this situation and to establish justice and restore liberty and constitutional government back to this state. If this federal court proceeds and issues an order for an election to be held other than that was established by the principles of the Constitution of Mississippi, they will have stabbed representative government in the heart and it will cease to exist.
Yeah.
It is your duty as citizens of this free state to make sure that your representatives are elected who have sworn an oath they will uphold to defend and uphold that Constitution of the United States and the state of Mississippi. It is your responsibility to get involved in these campaigns. It is your responsibility to come forth with the funds so that these candidates that are good and legitimate and solid can win. Because you have to fire McCoy, and you're the only ones that can do it. God bless you.